Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Live and trek, go cycling. It's been a while. Good to be back. And it's good to be back out. It is currently 9:30 a.m. Saturday the 14th of September 2024. And you join me in Whitchurch. Bit of roadkill on the road there, not very nice first thing in the morning. Yes, Whitchurch. And I'm currently cycling from a nearby caravan site that we're staying at for a couple of days to Whitchurch railway station. And I'll explain why when we get there. As you can see from the board behind me, we've made it. This is Whitchurch train station in the English county of Shropshire. I'm going to find a quiet place to sit now and I'll tell you why it is that I'm here. Okay, as you can see, I found a nice shaded area to stop and explain where I am and why we're here. As I mentioned during the intro clip, I'm currently in Whitchurch and I'm currently at Whitchurch railway station. And today I'm doing another Lost Lanes ride featured by the author Jack Thurston. Vicky and I, as you may have seen from our sister channel, which is a good opportunity to plug Live and Trek Go Travelling, recently bought a caravan and we've come away in the caravan to stay for 10 days, and the first site that we're staying at is Whitchurch, or in Whitchurch, in order that I can do this ride. Whitchurch is actually famous for its clocks, more specifically the large outdoor turret clocks made by the Joyce family. Now apparently they were quite famous a long time ago in Whitchurch for making those clocks. Apparently the family started making the clocks in 1690. Now Joyce of Whitchurch clocks can be seen all over the world, they're that famous. Today's route is 43 miles, so not that long, and it's quite flat. I think there's only about 1,400 foot of climbing. And he says, using a bit of artistic license, the route itself captures the flavours of North Shropshire and South Cheshire. So, without further ado, let's stop nattering, jump on the bike and crack on. Okay, so we've just left the train station, which is directly behind me. The start of the ride crosses the main road outside of the train station, and you immediately enter a housing estate. I've checked on the head unit. I am following the right path. Very kind of you, thank you very much. Mr. Volvo man, if that was a BMW driver, he wouldn't have stopped for me. Now the weather forecast today is quite nice. Yeah, as I was saying, the weather forecast for the next few days, I can't speak nationally, but certainly on a local basis and back home, not that I'll be there over the next few days, it's quite nice. Recently it's been pretty bad, atrocious, quite cold, but the temperatures have risen again, the rain has stopped and the winds have seemed to have gone away, which is good. So it's certainly bike riding weather. I'm 40 minutes into the ride now, and I was just thinking to myself a few minutes ago, within 10 minutes or so of leaving the train station, I was away from main busy roads onto back quiet country lanes, which was quite nice. So away from the hustle and bustle of cars and noisy traffic quite quickly on this route. This is not good. I'm religiously following the route, the GPX file that Jack Thurston publishes on his Lost Lanes website, and the theory being that if you follow the route that he's done before, that he's published, that he's made available, you can't go wrong, you can't get lost. But that's not my experience on these rides. It's just routed me down, obviously, a very narrow country lane. It clearly routed me down the side of a canal path. Then I saw that it was a dead end and I thought, oh, that'll just be for cars, there'll be a way through. This is obviously the way that Jack has ridden. Oh no. It was a proper dead end. So I'm now retracing my steps back up towards the main road. Garmin's tried to reroute me and failed. It's just given me a route navigation error. So I don't yet know whether I'll be able to continue with this ride or whether I'll just have to plot a route back to the caravan site where we're staying. This is not good. I am not particularly happy with that. I suppose one thing that you've got to think about and take into account when you do these rides is, for all I know, Jack Thurston might have done this particular route 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and the route that he's plotted, which I failed to find, might have been open to him then. They've since become overgrown and unrideable, unusable. Now here Garmin is telling me to turn right. That's the way that I've been, that's the way that I've come back from. Canal side is a dead end. So I'm going to carry on now and hope that the stupid computer recalculates, reroutes me. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Is it going to beep at me and tell me I'm off course? Come on computer, you can do it. Yes, now let's tell it to reroute. I've just told it to reroute. Route calculation error. Brilliant. It will not reroute. That is not good. I am not happy. But so far the last couple of miles has been a disaster. Adventure though, that's what it is, adventure. So I've currently done 14 mile 1-4. So if you do this ride, this Lost Lanes Whitchurch ride, the name of the route in the book escapes me for the time being, I'll put it up on screen. Be careful between mile 10 and 14. You may encounter exactly the same problem that I did, and if you're following the GPX course, the route as offered on the website might try and take you into trouble between mile 10 and 14, so be careful. But hopefully I am currently back on track. If we've actually missed WEM, W-E-M, I'm quite disappointed, because I had one very small minor fact to give you about WEM, and that is this. It's a small market town, and its name derives from the original Old English word wham, W-A-M-M, meaning marsh, I think. So even though I've missed the town due to that navigation balls up, I was still keen to give you the fact. So for that fact alone, give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you. The head unit that I'm using is the Garmin Edge 1040, which up until recently was Garmin's flagship model. They've not long ago released the 1050, and I really like and rate this 1040 head unit. However, occasionally Hey, Wem! That snuck up on me, didn't it? Hey? I wasn't expecting that. So, you've already had the fact about Wem. What am I going to tell you now? Ah, lordy, lordy. Anyway, Wem, W-E-M. No, I'm only kidding you. You've had that fact. Car behind me. We'll just let this car go past. Yeah, getting back to this Edge 1040 unit. Sometimes it'll do some really annoying things, like on a navigation. Even though turn-by-turn directions are on, it won't give me any. And when it does that, it's easy to miss or to go off course, off route, because you've got to constantly look at the map, which is a pain. And although I'm happy I'm still on track, so far I don't think it's given me any turn-by-turn directions, i.e. when I'm 80 yards away from a left turn junction, for example, it'll tell me, it'll give me a heads up. If the unit beeps, that's just another car behind me. So I don't think it's given me any turn-by-turn directions yet, which is annoying. Anyway, this is the metropolis of Wem, and I'm happy to be here. I think I've got a right turn coming up ahead, possibly where that red car is just coming out of the junction there. Let's have a look. Yeah, maybe there. Hello! Thank you. Thanks very much. She said something, no idea what she said. It didn't sound like abuse. It didn't sound like, "Where's your friggin' bell, mister?" Come on, Garmin, which way? Now it should have told me by now, and it's not. So let's have a look. Ah. That's why. That's why it's not telling me. Straight over. Up that bloody path, which is green. Look at it. Climb ahead as well, it was telling me, so that must be the way. Okay, this is definitely gravel bike country. Don't do these rides on your road bike, people. You will regret it. Okay, low gear. Off-road. This is tractor country, baby. Big tractor tyre marks. Ah! Good Lord. Well, your average speed is dropping here, that's for sure, people. Jack Thurston, you do take people on the most strangest of routes. I wonder if he chuckles to himself when he rides down tracks like this, thinking to himself of all the poor saps like me who are going to foolishly follow in his footsteps. I wonder, do you, Jack? Do you have a little chuckle to yourself? Tractor turn right there into the field. Me, the fool, straight on. Dear God. Oh boy. Oh boy. Reasonably dry so far along here, but we've had quite a bit of rain recently, so I hope I don't get bogged down, because if I've got to make a rescue phone call, even though my car's a four-wheel drive, it ain't getting here. She would not be happy to come and pick me up here. Good Lord. Will you look at it? Can you imagine doing this on a road bike? On my track with 28s. Good grief. Up ahead of me are a group of pheasants. They've already seen me and they're running. There must be 8 to 10 of them. Well, it's obviously a path, but who comes along here? It's too narrow for horses. I can't imagine walkers come along here. Getting a bit boggier here. Slight descent now. Let's unclip in case I fall off. Oh, bit of a stone section there, slippy. Well, I can see there are tyres in the mud, so obviously somebody's come along here. Wow. This is some place to ride through. Take a look at this. That's where I'm going, down there. Big rock wall, stone wall on my left, and sandstone by the look of it, which is quite common in Cheshire, on the plains of Cheshire, and that's where I've come from, down there. What a place to ride your bike. What an adventure. 1 2 1 2, buckle my shoe, mic is live. In fact, let's stop here and unclip the other shoe, just in case I lose the wheels on the wet stone which is in the centre of the path. Fingers crossed I don't get a puncture. Fingers crossed I don't get a puncture. And out into the sunshine. This is barely passable. Oh my God, if Vicky was with me now, she'd be bloody cursing. She would be cursing me chronic for fetching her here. I've just come down through that path along and through, in fact, the tree line, and it's got to be probably the worst path I've ever cycled through on my gravel bike. The worst path I've ever cycled along, full stop. And Garmin actually gave me a turn-by-turn direction, whoop-de-doo, and it's now pointing me down here into an open field. Thurston, what are you doing to me? Through there. Where does that take me? Thankfully, the route was not supposed to take me into that open field. I doubled back 40 yards, turning right instead of left towards that farmer's field, and then up there was another left turn, which is this path that I'm on now, and I'm quite satisfied that this is the path that I should be on. Getting a bit sketchy there for a few moments. I was imagining myself being shot by a farmer's shotgun for trespassing. More pheasants ahead, more pheasants ahead. I thought things were getting better, and they've suddenly taken a turn for the worst. Oh my God. Oh, how does he find these things? Eh? How does he bloody find them? I bet he didn't ride his bike over this. I know he hasn't got a gravel bike. I bet he walked up here. Well, we're walking this section, ladies and gentlemen, because frankly, it's ridiculous. Here it must be 15 to 20%. Let me get the other camera out and just show you some of the ruts in the stone. That is ridiculous. So that's where I'm going, and I'm walking, and I'll spin the camera around, and that's where I've come from. Wowzers. And here is the top, coming out onto a much better quality gravel road. Yeah. I'm laughing to myself, I'm chuckling to myself because I've come to the top of that silly, unrideable hill. And there's a sign at the top in blue. You see it? Unsuitable for motor vehicles. No shit, Sherlock. No shit, Sherlock. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, because I'm back on a proper country back lane. I don't know whether it classifies as tarmac beneath my wheel, but it's nice and smooth compared to what I've just come through. So, beware, dear viewer, if you do this route between mile 20 and 23, you will be walking, you'll be cycling over some of the most treacherous pathway I've ever seen. That was ridiculous. That was the worst by far I've ever seen on any ride, let alone the 3 or 4 previous Lost Lanes rides that I've done. That was just silly. Which brings home another point that I was thinking about as well. These are not rides that should be done, attempted during the wetter months of the year. If you do the rides during that period of the year, you are asking for trouble. Just missed another turning thanks to Garmin's inability today to give turn-by-turn directions. And as I ride along this road, you might hear the sound of gunfire. There you go. Because just to my left is a shooting range. The West Midlands Shooting Ground. Established 1934, 200 yards left. Not for me. A little bit of a ride update. It's now 8 minutes past 12 in the afternoon, and I've been riding for 2 hours 10 minutes, and I hope just past the halfway point. Done 26.4 miles, and this is supposed to be a 43-mile loop. Well, I'm maybe just on the halfway point now, bearing in mind I rode from the campsite down to the train station where the ride began this morning. And so far, whilst there have been elements of this route and ride that I've enjoyed, and I've really enjoyed elements of it, there are parts that I really haven't. For example, that pavé that I've mentioned on a couple of occasions. Which way here, right or left? Garmin hasn't told me. Let's have a look. Right. Yeah, so parts of this route have frankly been silly. the pave I mean, where the rider is taken. Ridiculous. Still onward and upward. Can you see that wall ahead of me? I've got a 45 tooth cassette on the back. Yes, it's a heavy bike and it's loaded with some camera equipment, but it must be between 15 and coming up to 20% here. In fact, what does Mr. Garmin say? I might not get an accurate read here. 17. It's getting steeper here. I'm popping wheelies. 19. 21. Thank God for that 45 tooth cassette. Wowzers. 22, max out to 22. Heart rate just below max. Time to recover. That's a nice property, isn't it? It wasn't a main road, it was another back lane, which is what I'm on now. I should have known better. Hey ho. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention another interesting tidbit about this route, which the author mentions in his books, and that is this: sooner or later, turning right here, sooner or later, we're going to get to a place called Darliston, I think, if I remember reading the place name correctly earlier, or just beyond it. And the road there, the A41, at or near or just after Darliston, is quite unremarkable according to the book, except for one time per year. Once in a 12-month period, it hosts British Cycling's Merseyside Cycling Club, or Mersey Cycling Club, a 24-hour time trial. Just slow down to let this. See, didn't afford me the same courtesy. Christ, what is wrong with people? Anyway, once a year, Mersey Cycling hold along that section of the road the British 24-hour time trial, which is quite simple. It does what it says on the tin. Here comes another one. That's how much room he gives me. It was a she, more considerate. She slowed down. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And the idea behind the 24-hour time trial is quite simple: to ride as far as you can within 24 hours. And I've got the figures written down, the record holders, or the records, at the time Jack wrote his book. There's obviously a men's record and there's a women's record, and it's pretty impressive. I think it's over 500 mile for the men and just under 500 for the ladies. I'll dig the piece of paper out later on, especially if I actually come to the section of A41 and remember to do it, because it's a pretty impressive stat. I am currently lost on a detour, not of my own choosing or making, following the route heading towards the A41, and there were signs on that road, I didn't film it, saying road closed. I bypassed the first obstructions in the road, thinking 9 times out of 10 when it says road closed it means to cars, vehicular traffic. Normally pedestrians and people pushing bikes can get through, not this time. Road was completely blocked off. Workmen were there. I didn't even ask them. That the road was completely fenced off. I could have only bypassed it if I'd have trespassed going through a farmer's field, and that was just going to get me in trouble and wind people up. So I'm now cycling in the opposite direction from what I want to go, and I must have been cycling on this road for at least 2 miles. I'm hoping somewhere I'm going to rejoin the A41, but haven't got there yet. Well, it's safe to say I am massively off route due to that road closure. I'm out of country lanes, I'm back on main roads and I don't want to be, but I do know I need to turn left here to go along the A41 towards Whitchurch, which is the general direction of where this ride started and will end one way or another. So I'm doing my best to try and get back on track. I'm having to cycle on because I'm lost because of that bloody diversion. A dual carriageway. Not happy. Okay, ride update. After a very harrowing half an hour on the A41. I'm pleased to report I'm now off that road, and just up ahead, where you can see the blue car slowing down, I think this is where I'm going to turn right and hopefully rejoin the route. Yes sir, Bob. I am back on the route. All because of that one road closure that I couldn't beat. The detour that I had to take to get back on the route was significant. I'd say it was between, I don't know, well, it was at least 5 miles, and it really pissed me off. Still, onward and upward, onward and upward. Just thinking again about the lack of turn-by-turn directions on the head unit, on the Edge 1040 today, on today's route. And I'm not 100% sure, even though the option is turned on, I've triple checked that, why I'm not getting any. So it might be something to do with which app created the route, whether the route was created in Garmin or Strava or something else. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I'm not sure, it's something like that. If you know, let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate getting to the bottom of that. It's let me down today, the head unit. For that reason, it's made it harder, it's made it less enjoyable. It's still nice to get out on the bike, don't get me wrong, but the ride was diminished by the road closure and the big reroute onto a busy road. You know, that's not the fault of the author at all, but that really spoilt my enjoyment of Jack's original route. You know, the pave in places was really tough going, but that's part of the fun, that's part of the adventure. But as I say, if you know why I'm not getting any turn-by-turn directions, do let me know in the comments below, thanks. There are more diversion signs or road closed signs that I've just passed saying this road is closed. And here's another one, look. But I've risked it. I've taken a risk. Will I regret it? Road closed. Oh, come on. I can't get through. It's completely blocked off. Shall I chance it? I'm gonna go for it. Don't tell anybody. If there's workmen down here, I'm going to be in trouble. They're going to send me back. But hopefully this road is closed just because of this big hole in the ground on the right. Yeah, there's no workmen here. And as long as I can get out through here, hopefully I'll be champion. Can I get through? Yes. Fortune favours the brave. Well, at least it does today. I managed to get through. On a ride where I've had bad luck with road closures and really bad pavé, that was my one piece of good luck, and I'll take it. Just going over that level crossing, no train coming. I'll take that as a second piece of good luck as well. Well, according to the head unit, which I've fallen out of love with, 1.6 mile left back to the train station, hopefully in Whitchurch. And as I've said before, I'll be glad to get there. This ride has gone wrong on three main fronts, which I'll tell you about in more detail once we get back to base. Well, I have a confession to make, and that is this. I got so fed up towards the end of that ride that on getting into Whitchurch, I skipped the pointless exercise of riding directly to the train station. Decided to navigate back to the start of the ride, which is the campsite where we're staying. Which, all being well, is just around this corner. Thank you. Oh, what a palaver. And at last, at long last, we're back on site. Oh. Stand by for final thoughts. As you can see from the way I'm dressed, it's some time later. It's a couple of hours after now the ride ended. It's 10 to 5 in the afternoon, and we're sitting outside the main church in Whitchurch town centre, just catching the last few rays of sunshine, and it's quite nice on this bench in the grounds. Although the bench itself is a bit dodgy, we've nearly fallen through it, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Okay, the ride. What did I think of it? I'm going to start off by saying it was the worst, without any doubt whatsoever, the worst route, Lost Lanes route that I've done so far. And really, for three main reasons, the worst Lost Lanes ride experience that I've had. But let me tell you why. I'll leave the biggest reason until last. Reason number one, technical problems with the Garmin head unit, which I alluded to on video during the ride. And what I mean by that is Garmin, the head unit, the Edge 1040 playing silly buggers in that it didn't give me any voice, but turn-by-turn directions. Reason number two was the pavé on the route. I've experienced this before on the other Lost Lanes rides that I've done rather. On each one that I've done, there have been off-road sections and gravel sections, but today's off-road sections were absolutely horrendous. There was a bit of fun in that, don't get me wrong, there was a bit of adventure in that, but there was no way on God's earth that I would have done those on a road bike, gravel or mountain bike, and there were times that I had to get off and push. Hopefully you'll see from the video itself, once I've edited it and uploaded it, how bad it was in places. And lastly, the third biggest reason which spoiled my ride experience today, again, no fault of the book or the author, was due to a closed road. I suppose just after the halfway point of the ride, and I was following the route to the letter, the road ahead of me was closed, and there were barriers across the road. I'm not sure whether I filmed it in the video, and I thought I'd risk it, and I bypassed them, thinking that 9 times out of 10, road closed means closed to vehicular traffic, and pedestrians and people pushing bikes can get past. So I chanced it, but no way, Jose. And as a result of that, I ended up doing a 5 or a 10 mile detour, which really wound me up. It really spoilt the ride experience. It changed a 43-ish mile route into just under a 60. No fault, as I say, of the rider or the book, but because of those main three reasons. I mean, I'm still glad that I got out on the bike. It was still decent enough weather for September. We've had some grim weather recently, but for those three reasons, it was my worst Lost Lanes ride experience so far.
And I sat in the caravan and relaxed and read a book.
I'm glad Vicky didn't come with me today, because as you'll see from watching the video, I think I commented a couple of times that I'm glad she wasn't with me. The church bell's just ringing, 5 o'clock. Oh yeah, a few times on the video I commented that I was really glad that Vicky wasn't with me today, because of what happened. She would have been in tears, and I would have been in tears as well, because she was in tears, so I'm glad she didn't come today. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, if it made you smile, or if you enjoyed seeing me suffer or whatever, give it a thumbs up. I'm very grateful, thanks very much. Two final things. The channel now has 497 subscribers. Thank you very much to everybody that's subscribed. I'm really grateful, and I'm only 3 away from the big 500. So this is a plea really. If you watch the video and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and I only need 3 more to push me over that 500 limit, and that 500 limit is a milestone, is a YouTube milestone. So if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much.
And yes, 500 is when you're going to do a giveaway of Jack Thurston's book.
That's the second point. There is still a Lost Lanes prize giveaway ongoing. If you want to enter that prize giveaway, what I'm planning on giving away free to the winner one of Jack Thurston's books of your choice. I'll put the instructions on how to enter that competition in the video description down below. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Thanks again for watching. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.